Cobra Kai takes the world of Karate Kid and puts a whole new spin on it, but it doesn't forget where it came from. Here are Easter eggs and callbacks in Cobra Kai Seasons 1 and 2. Hope you brought a big basket, because there are a lot of them. In the first episode, we see footage from Karate Kid where Daniel and Johnny face off. They even added some never-before-seen shots, almost as if to say you're getting another side of the story. Johnny drives a red Firebird, which looks very similar to the car he drove in the original Karate Kid. At the dealership, Daniel had his cousin Louie working with him.
Louie, get over here. I want you to meet somebody.
This is most likely the son of Daniel's uncle Louie that we got a glimpse of in part 3.
Louie Fartini? Louie LaRusso.
Johnny visits the All Valley Sports Arena. This is where the aforementioned tournament between Daniel and him took place. Johnny writes "No Mercy" on the wall of his new dojo, a die-hard mantra at Cobra Kai.
No mercy.
The first episode is called Ace Degenerate, which is a callback to something Johnny claimed not to be in Karate Kid.
And you're still the Ace Degenerate. No, ex-degenerate, man.
Johnny makes Miguel do push-ups on his knuckles, which is something Kreese makes his students do in the original.
Give me 60 push-ups on your knuckles.
Johnny makes Miguel clean his dojo, similar to the way Mr. Miyagi would make Daniel fix up his house in Karate Kid.
Make sure you get both sides.
Miguel later asks if there's a particular method to washing the windows, kind of like the wax on, wax off routine.
Wax on, wax off.
But Johnny does things a little differently.
Hey, Sensei, is there any particular way you want me to wash these windows?
Nah, I don't give a shit.
Daniel mentions that he got a knife from Okinawa. He probably picked up this souvenir during the events of part 2. Hopefully, it's not this one.
Whatever happened, I apologize.
Daniel asks about Kyler's black eye,
So tell me about that shiner you got there.
similar to how Miyagi inquired about Daniel's in Karate Kid.
What happened to eye?
He even addresses his hand.
Lucky no hurt the hand.
Is that how you hurt your hand too?
Miguel kicks boards inside a metal frame. This is a callback to part 3, when Daniel was training with the Kreese associate that we love to hate, Terry Silver.
Now what are you gonna do about it?
When Miguel needs a costume for a party, Johnny suggests a bona fide favorite,
Well, I can't let you go out like that.
his skeleton costume from Karate Kid. Daniel tells his daughter
My mom drove me on dates, okay?
this is a reference to the original film and his first date with Allie. At the high school, Johnny sees a trophy case with Allie's photo inside. In the first movie, they were once an item. Keyword, once.
Can we please finish the dance?
The title of episode 4 is Cobra Kai Never Dies, which was a phrase used throughout part 3.
Cobra Kai.
Never dies.
Bet your ass.
Johnny says
This isn't a knitting class, this is a dojo.
Kreese says something similar the first time he met Miyagi and Daniel in Karate Kid.
This is a karate dojo, not a knitting class.
Daniel hangs up one of Miyagi's 2 rules of karate, which we saw in part 2.
Karate for defense only.
However, the other one is more useful.
Rule number 2. First, learn rule number 1.
The kata he performs is the very same one he learned in Karate Kid 3. It's just like riding a bike.
Stupid bike!
When young Johnny looks into Kreese's studio, the audio used is taken directly from Karate Kid. They even used the original Cobra Kai sign. Mirroring the scenes of Kreese with his students from Karate Kid 1, Johnny asks his students,
Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Pain does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it?
Prepare!
like Daniel did in Karate Kid, Robbie does the wax on, wax off routine at the dealership. Robbie even gets frustrated and says it's
bullshit.
I'm going home, man.
But you just can't argue with the results. The All Valley Under 18 advertisement is similar to the poster in Kreese's dojo, except a different color and date. Robbie is trimming a bonsai tree just like the one Daniel used to trim with Mr. Miyagi. Amanda even tells Daniel
just to try to lure him into opening his own bonsai tree store.
This is a reference to the store Daniel and Miyagi tried to open in Karate Kid 3. And yes, it ran into some troubles.
Make a wish.
No!
The date that Miguel and Sam go on is filmed almost exactly the same as Daniel and Allie's date in Karate Kid. Randy Heller reprises her role as Daniel's mom, Lucille. She even refers to Daniel's eyes as baby browns, as she did in the first film.
I want to see your baby browns.
Daniel wears baseball gear when teaching Robbie how to punch. Miyagi did this with Daniel in the original film. The catcher's mask really suggests a lot of trust. Daniel trains Robbie to balance on a tree, similar to the way Daniel would practice on the stump in Karate Kid. Daniel tells Johnny to choose a car from his dealership lot, similar to the way Miyagi once let Daniel have one of his cars in Karate Kid. At the tournament, Johnny has Miguel do a crane kick to mock Daniel. This was the same move that Daniel used to defeat Johnny in Karate Kid. Johnny makes a menacing fist at one of his students, the same way Kreese did with Bobby in Karate Kid. As people advance throughout the tournament, the on-screen bracket bears a striking resemblance to the one seen in Karate Kid. Hawk does an illegal move and gets disqualified, just like Bobby did in Karate Kid. Indeed, it does. After Robbie is injured, Daniel puts his hands together and starts rubbing them. This is a callback to Miyagi fixing Daniel's arm and leg in Karate Kid. Of course, Daniel does things a little differently.
Medic!
Daniel tells Robbie
You don't need to fight.
this mirrors a conversation between Miyagi and Daniel in Karate Kid.
No need to fight anymore.
Announcer says
Daniel LaRusso's gonna coach?
this is yet another callback to the original when the announcer says
Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight?
when Daniel takes Robbie to Miyagi's house, we can see a yellow car under a tarp. This is the exact same car that Daniel is given in the original. Season 2 begins right where the first left off, the night after the All Valley tournament. This is much like how Part 2 begins. Johnny refuses to shake Kreese's hand, Kreese responding with,
But I like that. I like that.
he says the same thing to Miyagi in Karate Kid.
But I like that. I like that.
When Johnny and Kreese fight and Kreese throws Johnny into the mirror, the same thing happens when Terry, Mike, and Kreese fight Mr. Miyagi in Part 3. Strange how these characters seem to have years of bad luck. We see Mr. Miyagi's Medal of Honor in a display. Daniel put it in a frame for him as a gift in Part 2. When fixing up the dojo, it closely resembles Daniel's initial training in Karate Kid. While this is going on, Daniel flips his paintbrush just like he did in the first film. He even does the single strike nailing technique that Miyagi taught him in Part 2. Daniel talks to Sam about his past relationships. While doing so, he references Judy, and Allie from Karate Kid 1, Kamiko from Part 2, and most likely Jessica from Part 3, but
That's a story for another time.
Kreese brings Johnny a second place trophy, which may or may not be the same one he broke in Part 2. Robbie picks up a toy drum. This is the one Daniel had in Part 2. You know, the one that's...
This is a secret of your family's karate.
Hey,
Daniel had his original gi on display in his new dojo, as well as his All Valley trophy. In Karate Kid, he got the gi on his birthday and the trophy after defeating Johnny.
People are gonna be talking about that last kick for years.
In the corner, you can see an upside-down boat, kind of like the one Miyagi used to teach Daniel how to balance in the first film. When Kreese says,
This man's gonna make Cobra Kai bigger, better than ever.
this is a line Terry Silver once said in Part 3.
You are back, my man, bigger and badder than ever.
When Johnny watches video clips online, we can see that they were posted by someone named Karate Kid 18. When filming his commercial, Johnny kicks a bonsai tree, aka the competition. As previously mentioned, this is something Daniel is pretty passionate about. When Johnny describes the logo he wants for his commercial,
Make it chrome.
it sounds a lot like the chrome snake seen at the end of every episode of Cobra Kai. The ice blocks that Daniel brings out in the Valley Fest demonstration are just like the ones he smashed in Part 2. The title of this episode, The Moment of Truth, is the Karate Kid's theme song, which is heard during the credits. When Daniel gets in the yellow Ford and leans back, it's the exact same way he did it when Mr. Miyagi first gave it to him in Karate Kid. We also made a new character who says her name is Tori.
With a Y.
This is pretty similar to how Allie introduced herself in Karate Kid.
Allie, with an I.
That was an Easter egg with a G. When Daniel says
Back in our day, our moms knew there was a problem when we came home with a black eye.
he's directly referring to Karate Kid when his mom saw the shiner he got from fighting with Johnny at the beach. Daniel tells a parent
Funny you should ask.
this is something Mr. Miyagi once said to him in the original when Daniel asked about his Sanders.
funny you should ask.
At a party, Tori pushes Sam into a buffet table. The aftermath looks a lot like Daniel did when he got covered in spaghetti sauce in Karate Kid. When Daniel rescues Robbie from getting beat up at the beach, it's very similar to the way Mr. Miyagi rescued him from the costumed bullies in the first film. Johnny asks Kreese if the trip to Tahiti was even real. This is a reference to a trip Terry Silver sent Kreese on in Part 3. We're pretty sure that he was telling the truth.
But what about those two jerks?
No Shelter plays as Dimitri runs away from Hawk in the mall. This is the same song that played when Daniel ran away from Johnny at the Halloween dance. Hawk tells Dimitri,
You're dead meat.
in the original, Daniel was also referred to as
Dead meat.
Just before Sam and Robbie show up to help Dimitri, we hear the song Miyagi Rattles Bones, which is part of the original score from Karate Kid. The title, Take a Right, refers to something Tommy once said to Johnny in the first film when pointing out Allie talking to Daniel.
Take a right, check it out.
Chris tells Dimitri that
We can't just drop a challenge and leave.
this mirrors Kreese, who once told Mr. Miyagi,
You don't come in my dojo and drop a challenge and leave, old man.
all played by the original actors. Johnny reunites with his Cobra Kai buddies from the original Karate Kid, including Bobby, Tommy, and Jimmy, all with a Y, by the way. The song, The Ride, plays as Johnny and his old Cobra Kai friends ride on motorcycles. The same song plays in Karate Kid when the guys pull up to the beach on their dirt bikes. Here's one for the pros. When Daniel trains the kids at the meat locker, you might notice a few Fernandez Meats labels. At the beginning of Karate Kid, Daniel meets a kid named
Freddy Fernandez.
Freddie, even gave him his titular nickname.
Hey, Karate Kid.
Kreese tells Miguel,
Finish him.
calm down, Mortal Kombat fans. It's from the original when Kreese told Johnny,
Finish him!
Lucille got Daniel Minute Maid, just like in Karate Kid.
Are you on something?
Yeah, I'm on Minute Man.
Drink responsibly. At an 80s party, Miguel wears Johnny's red leather jacket that he wore in Karate Kid. While Daniel looks in a scrapbook, we can see a plane ticket to Okinawa for seat 32A. This must have been from his trip in part 2.
You will be in seat 32B.
When Daniel and Amanda romantically connect in the back of a car, You're the Inspiration by Chicago plays. Frontman Peter Cetera's Glory of Love is played during Daniel's romance with Kamiko. It also happens to be the title of episode 8. You can be a huge fan and still not get this next one. While inebriated, Daniel and Johnny talk about a blueberry pie incident. They're referring to an unreleased scene from Karate Kid. When Daniel picks himself up off the floor after Johnny kicks him into the TV, this is the exact same angle when Daniel got kicked at the beach during Karate Kid. Robbie has a book about Okinawa on his bed. Daniel also had a book about Okinawa during part 2. When Kreese tells his class,
We have a visitor.
this is just like in Karate Kid, when Kreese says,
Class, we have visitors.
finally, the song Cruel Summer is heard twice during season 2. When Daniel bikes to school in Karate Kid, the Bananarama version plays. Are there any Easter eggs we missed? What's your favorite Cobra callback or Easter egg? Let us know in the comments. And remember,
Cobra Kai never dies.